Aside from luck and timing, there are some very good reasons that I'm not a big movie star. Here's a perfect example. I was hired some years ago to play a TV reporter in a big disaster movie made for television. Once you've seen the movie, it's more accurate to say in a big disaster of a movie because it was a real stinker. And I have a feeling that once they aired it on one of the American channels, it's never been seen again, except perhaps in some faraway mystical country. Storyline was simple enough. The greatest and most destructive earthquake in history, a 10.5, that was the name of the movie, 10.5, on the Richter scale, demolishes Seattle, which once again was brilliantly portrayed by my hometown, Vancouver, BC. When I arrived on the location, I was astonished to see the epic nature of this shoot. They had created an entire MASH sort of village with hundreds and hundreds of tents and literally hundreds of cars, buses, trucks, 300 extras, and all the extras were covered in dirt and sand and blood, and little children carrying broken dolls, and everybody with broken suitcases on crutches, and lots of bandaging and so on. And my job, I was the TV reporter, my job was to look into the camera. Oh, by the way, before I tell you that, before I look in the camera, there's a great big tower behind me, and before I say my lines, the director yells action, and the background action happens, and everybody moves, trudging slowly, I don't know, towards an apple or a banana or something, wherever they're all going, but very, and so it's horrible looking. And then my job is to look into the camera, which in this case is actually the filming camera, and say something like, thousands of people are making their ways to these tent cities as reports come in that millions have been left at blah, 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 and so on. So I do this, and we barely get started. The director yells, cut, and he comes over to me and he says, excuse me, but do you know what this movie is about? And I literally fell down in the sand laughing, and I got hysterical, and I said, yeah, an earthquake? It's about the biggest earthquake ever, 10.5, duh. And he says, yeah, well, I want you to be hysterical. I said, you see, you didn't speak to me. You didn't even say hello. You didn't welcome me on the set. I just showed up and said my lines. I'm an actor. I made a choice. My choice was that I would be the only calm, cool, collected person in this mess. He says, no, I want hysterical. I said, well, fortunately for you, hysterical just happens to be my middle name. So I gave him hysterical. They got everything moving again. Then I did the lines all over again, hysterically. And he loved it. Fine. I'm finished. That's it for me. I walk away. I go to get out of the costume and so on. And an assistant director comes running up. He says, wait a minute. They love that so much, they're writing another scene for you. So they wrote another scene for me, and I stayed all day, and I made some more money. It was great. The movie was unwatchable. It sunk like a stone into the great graveyard of expensive movies of the week that will never be seen again. That's one of my favorite genres. Pickle. Show business is such an alluring and insane activity. It is meant only for the strong of heart and sinew. Not necessarily me.